Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus one more time. I got a piece of information, wonderful information, that I want to share with you. Now, many of you are soft-skinned. And what I say to you, this truth that I'm going to share with you, might unravel you. I just ask that you hold tight. Give me a chance to state my case. For the most part, what I want to say to you is this. All human beings on the face of the earth is as ignorant and stupid as we have been trained to be. We didn't come here that way, but we are that way now because we have been trained by every institution that exists. We have been trained to be as ignorant and as stupid and as foolish as we are. You know, parents today, they talk about their kids and they say, well, say positive things to the kids. Don't focus on the negatives. Some things are just too unbearable. So don't even mention it to your kids. In other words, raise your kids up stupid, because that's what they become, stupid. I looked on the YouTube or Facebook the other day and I saw a post representing a picture of a magazine or a newspaper with Donald Trump on it back in 1998. And apparently the question was asked to Donald if he would ever consider running for president. And he said if he did, he would run as a Republican, because there's no one as stupid and as ignorant and gullible as the Republican Party. And today he ran as a Republican, and he's proven that. All of those who thought you had chosen representatives in the Republican Party to represent you, they're walking right step in step with Donald Trump. I just mentioned that to say, in a continuation of what I started off with. But at the same time, I want to add that I have indicated that Donald Trump represents evil and is not strange or foreign to any of you. Many of you voted for him because he was the lesser of the two evils, not recognizing that with your vote, you empowered him to become the biggest evil. And evil, it doesn't just exist. Evil is an influence. It's an influence of Satan for some of those of you who don't understand human influences. It's an influence of the devil. And so when I speak of Democrats who are sitting back waiting for all of that evilness in Trump to expose itself and hoping that some of you will still be around and give them a chance to do what they have been doing all the time, which is the same thing that allowed Donald Trump to have some credibility with you. And so I have offered them a chance to make a change, a real change. To make a change, a real change. Be not for evil, as we were in the last presidential election, but to represent good. To start today speaking about goodness, speaking about the best that things can be, and offering to represent that, and asking people to give it a chance. But I know they're not going to do that, because the Democratic platform is too strong. It's been around too long, and so they're not going to pay any attention to me. So I'm going to say to you, those of you who got a little sense, you're still stupid, still ignorant. And I feel comfortable saying these things to you because I'm just like you, stupid, ignorant, and I've been trained to be. The problem is that I'm more stupid, I'm more ignorant than you because I know better. You don't. When I say I know better, I was given a sign. I was given a glimpse of what truth is. You haven't. That's why you walk in hand and step with the evilness of the world. And so I'm fed up with it. I'm being bold, and I'm taking the initiative to tell you that we are all stupid, ignorant, and crazy. And I'm not just talking about Americans. You see, as we taught our kids to ignore the negatives, we've taught America to ignore the negatives. We've said that we are the greatest nation on the face of the earth. Ignorant, lying. We are the smartest, ignorant, lies. We were the most religious and God-fearing, ignorant, lying. And so when we bought into this stuff, it justified anything that our representatives did. If they abused other nations for our benefit, beautiful. We had no problem with it. If we took the natives' land here in America, you benefited from it, or we benefited from it, we had no problem with it. When we had slaves and used them for whatever the powers that be wanted it for, we had no problem with it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are being used just like that. We are being used by a monetary system, which is also a bait of the devil. And it has been injected into our society for so long. Many of you think that it is a God's plan. Many of you think that it is the only way to be. Many of you wouldn't even consider anything else. I hear people every day saying that whatever they're doing, whatever monies they're making is not enough sufficient. And they're talking about doing second jobs and third jobs trying to make ends meet. Now this is, I mean, how foolish and how stupid can you get? How foolish and how ignorant and how stupid can you get? Now what am I saying to say that to you? I want you to know, and I'm going to say it to you as I've said it to you before. Everything in existence belongs to God. But God has given us power and authority to use it as we choose. We have chosen to use it for evil because that's what we have been taught. We have not been taught goodness. The Bible has not taught us goodness. The preachers have not taught us goodness and kindness. They are a part of the system of Satan. That doesn't mean that it was intended to be that way, but people who use the Bible don't know anything about God. They might know Scripture quite well, and they can tell themselves and convince themselves that that's straight from the God if they want to. But the result of it is exactly what we have in America today, and that tells me it too is from the pit of hell. Doesn't mean that there's some truths in it, but those that are talking to you don't know what those truths are, and they don't know how to use it. This is why you got your prosperity preachers ripping you off, doing the same thing to you that the devil is doing with that monetary system. Now I'm saying it to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm saying it to you, and I'm going to say it to you one more time. Everything belongs to God. And I am asking those of you who suffer the most to join God's team. I will call it God's political view, God's political perspective, but I can't use politics because you know that politics is nothing but a scam by Satan. And I don't want to say church because you know the church is nothing but a scam. But maybe I'll just say God's will for humanity. I'm running as an independent write-in candidate for the Senate, the United States Senate from the state of Minnesota, with an ambition to become President of the United States in 2020 as God's representative. As God's representative. Not Republican, not Democrat, but God's representative. To say to you that all things belong to God. And essentially what that means that all things on this earth belong to the people of this earth. Things on this earth that were created by the hands of people belongs to the people. The system that we use is to make sure that everything that exists is distributed to the people as they desire, need, or want. That's the system that's designed. Without all that boogie stuff that's going on. Now, I don't have time to speak to you eloquently. All I got time to do right now is to tell you what I'm telling you, and if you got any sense at all, you can decipher what I'm saying. You poor people, I don't want a single one of you voting for a Republican or Democrat or anybody else. I want you to go to the polls and write in Eddie Marcus. Why? Because God cares about you. And all of you out there who got businesses, I'm telling you this. Stop making that trash. You're getting stuff from China, and before you get home, it's broken. It is God's plan that everything that man makes is the quality, the best quality that it can possibly be according to your understanding. And if it's not the best quality, let it be because you are not smart enough to make it any better. And it will be recognized, and you will go and get that knowledge that is required to make things better. It's time that cars stop falling apart. It's time that your utensils stop breaking. It's time that your paint stop dripping off your houses. It's time that your houses start rotting. It's time that your highways stop buckling up in potholes. It is time that the air gets that pollution out of it, that your water is clean and pure. It is time that all that stuff happens. And it's not going to happen under the current system because it's designed to rip you off like you a stinking fool, a stinking ignorant fool that you've been trained to be. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we are exactly that. We're ignorant, we're stupid, and we are out of our mind. And we are that way because we have been trained to be that way. I don't care if you got 1,000 degrees. I don't care how smart you think you are. I don't care what your IQ is. If you're not trying to make this world a better world for everybody on it, you are ignorant, stupid, low-down, devil-fearing person that you have been trained to become. Now, I said you have been trained to become. You're not really that. You have been trained to be that. And you can learn a different language. If whatever your language is, you can learn a different language. And it is required that you learn a different system of life. It is required that you change. It is required, otherwise we're going straight to the pit of hell, and Donald Trump might be leading us. And if he doesn't lead us, it's someone that's going to outsmart him and going to do the same darn thing. So I'm telling you, God has prepared that every human being on earth, the Russians, the North Koreans, the Chinese, the Indians, the Asians, the Africans, everybody on the face of the earth, men, women, and children, old folks, should live as though they're in heaven and experience paradise every day. And he's enabled us to be a part of that creative process that would allow us to have our needs and our desires and our wants met, and we don't have to pay one doggone penny. All you got to do is make a career of your own choosing, qualify yourself to implement those gifts in the process of creating, and your name is on the label. Your name is on the label. And I know people saying that that won't work. We'll exploit and use up all the resources of the earth. There's no such thing as using up all the resources of the earth. And for those of you who won't believe that, all you got to do is look at your buffet. People start going to the buffet. They get everything. They run their place over, throwing stuff away, wasting it like nothing. And if they keep on going, they find out that when they throw all that food away, as they pass out of the place, those places still have food, so they're waiting for somebody to get it. So they will understand that the food is not going to run out, so they can stop coming in there running their place over, but get a fair serving. And this is what will happen in society. People have been so down. You go to some people's houses, it's cluttered. It's cluttered. Why? Because they don't want to get rid of anything. They think they might need it later when the world starts falling apart worse than it is today. Now, I have talked fast, and I'm talking hastily, but you know exactly what I'm saying. And I'm telling you, we have to change, and it's not going to come from the rich people. They're not going to do one thing to change this world. It's not going to come from people who got lucrative jobs. They're not going to do one thing to change this world. It's not going to come from people who just making okay money. They're not going to do one thing to change this world. And those of you who are out there fighting for $11 and $15 and $20 an hour, it's going to be hard to get you to change one thing. But those of you who are on welfare, those of you who can't go to the doctor, those of you who are living on Skid Row, they probably won't let you vote, but you don't have to vote to change these things. Just start standing up like men and women that God created, and not the Democratic Party of the United States or the Founding Fathers created. You are, I tell you, an instrument. You are as solid as the earth. You are as solid as the heavens. You are as solid as a tree. You are as solid as anything that God had ever created, and your life is continuously. You might die out of these bodies, but your life continues to live, and you must know that. You got to stop being afraid. Stop being a fool that you've been trained to be and taught to be. Start standing up like the God child that you really are, and let us change this world. And go to those polls in November in the state of Minnesota and write in Eddie Marcus. Don't look for my name on the ballot. Just look for that blank spot on the United States Senator and write my name in there. And I promise you, the conversation that I'm giving to you right now, I'm going to take it to Congress and beat those senators and House of Representatives right across the head with the stick of God. And I'm going to beat them down till they change their stinking minds. And at the same time, I'm going to talk to the people across this nation. And as I speak to the people across this nation, I'm going to be speaking to the people across the world and let them know that there is a God. And he's not white, he's not blonde, he's not blue-eyed, he's not black, he doesn't have nappy hair, he's invisible. And he loves, not hate. Take that in your pipe and smoke it. Bye-bye.